Okay, so welcome back to our next training lesson, guys. Today we're doing straightening of the hair, but before we do that, I'll get Nada to do the acknowledgement of country, please.
We acknowledge the Aboriginal people as the traditional owners of this land, and we pay our respects to elders past and present.
Thanks, Nada, for that. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Okay, so for today, the objective of today's lesson is to be able to, we're doing straightening with heated irons. And to be successful in doing this, we need to be able to, for the client's head to be nice and straight without burning yourself, and obviously keeping in mind any safety factors that we might need to do, put in place. So from your last training session, Roy, what do you remember about some sort of safety aspects that we talked about with the straightener? Because you did the last training session with the curling.
Yep, obviously with the straightener, the electricity, the cords, make sure you don't get them wrapped around you, burning the client's like forehead, hair, scalp.
Yep.
Sorry, have I missed anything?
No, that's pretty good. Do you remember what we actually put in the client's head before we started?
Yes, we did spray with that black bottle there, a few others called.
It's got a heat spray and a
heat spray,
protecting spray, and that sort of helps protect the client's hair from the heated product, the heated irons.
Yep.
Is there anything that you could think of, Nada, that you might be aware of when it comes to safety of using hot things around people?
Maybe like your own safety as well, like trip hazards with the
Yeah,
cords.
perfect, exactly. So as I explained, because you weren't here in the last training session with Roy, obviously if you're working on this side of the head, I wouldn't expect you to like wrap the cord around the client like that or anything like that. You'd obviously bring it with you and work around. And as you go around the client, you move your cord with you as well. Okay, so that's a very important thing to remember, to not trip over and obviously tangle around your client. So what I'll get started. That's a few safety things that we've run through. I'm going to take out these two dolls' heads, and then from there, I'm going to show you how to straighten the client's hair, and also, yes, we're going to do that. We're going to do that first, and then we'll go over it together.
So obviously the client's hair is going to be dry.
Yeah, we're going to do it dry. I'm going to still spray this in very lightly, so I'm going to. It's really hot today, so hopefully it'll dry in.
So question. We're straightening the hair with a straightening iron, correct?
Yes.
So if the hair comes in wet,
Yes.
do you blow dry it with a blow dryer and then straighten it with a straightening iron?
Of course. So you can.
Obviously you don't just put
Yeah, you can't go over the client's.
electricity,
You can't go over the client's head when it's wet.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go with a few tools that you will need to perform this service on a client. So if the client comes in looking like this one, she's a bit ratty. You have a brush, you're going to use that to brush her hair. You're going to use this to when you're straightening, so you don't burn yourself, or you're going to be guiding it through the head. Your straightener, your heat pad.
Obviously we forgot for the safety, the heat pad.
Heat pad.
Yep.
So you don't burn your bench or anything
Products,
like that.
whatever, yep.
Obviously some clips. We don't have a real person, so we've got a doll's head and a clamp. So I'll just go over it really quickly. I want to show you how to do this section. So normally when we do a straightening, you would start at the back of the head. So I'm going to section it down the middle of the head.
Why do you start at the back?
There's no particular reason. It's just so you don't lose where you're at. So if you start up here and then you start working down, you might find you might get lost along the way. So I'm just going to try it now a little bit. So normally we would do like down the middle.
Do we part the front?
Not really, no. We're going to go down the middle, and then we're just going to section it off at the back, this little corner through the back here.
Like with straightening, how do you know how much hair to take out? Like when you did that piece at the bottom.
Yeah.
How do you know how much hair to take out at the bottom?
That's a good question. I would probably go no thicker than your finger, slightly thicker, but not too thick. You'll see, you'll get an idea once you start going through the head how thick the client's hair is, and it'll determine how much hair you should be taking.
So obviously, to go back to last class, we're going to check the client's hair for any
Yes, correct.
problems.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Psoriasis.
you've already done the last two
Yeah.
training sessions, you should be aware that the client may have,
Lice, head lice,
yeah, things like that.
scalp issues, whatever.
I'm just going to spray the back bit just to show you what to do, but we're going to do the whole head, only a very light spray. So I'm just going to do a little bit on this one.
Would the hair need to be clean as well again, or is that
Yes.
not really mattered for this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because today is just a very basic lesson on how to straighten. We're not going to wash the client's hair.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting the hair straight.
Okay.
So I would say around about that thick, as in that the width of the hair. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go holding the comb in your left hand. We're going to place it in the hair like that. And then you're going to get your straightener and place it not too close to the roots because you may burn the client's scalp.
So how far would you recommend off the roots?
Maybe about, I would say about a centimetre off the, yeah, a centimetre off. And then just bringing it straight down the head like that. We're not going to lift it up in the air like this, okay?
What does that do?
It's going to give you over projection of the hair. So what that means is it's not going to really be straight. You're going to get like a lump.
Like there is
Yeah,
there.
like a lump at the root. See that?
Yeah.
So if someone's saying, I want my hair to be dead straight and I don't want it to have like bumps,
Yeah.
well, you can't be lifting it up. You
So
need-
straight down
so
or
you don't
just
lift it up like that, so it's not going to give you the result you're after. You're going to have to hold it down and as flat down as possible, straight down. Okay? I'm going to do from here to here for you. I'm going to do about 3 sections. Then I'm going to get you guys to have a turn, and then I'll show you again, and then you can have another turn. So I'm going to just do it in fast time so you can kind of see.
So how long will it take you normally to straighten someone's hair? Obviously that's already dry.
Okay, so you're probably looking at around about at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes, even half an hour, depends on how thick the client's actual hair is. And doing this, you need to put a slight bit of pressure on your tongue. You can put a little bit of pressure on the tongue, okay? And making sure you always run your comb as you're doing it because you will burn your hand, okay? How does that look to you guys? Looks pretty good, right? So I'm going to go to the next section. So again, the same.
Turn your phone down.
So I've added the heat spray protection in it already. Give it a little brush. And then we're going to do it again.
Obviously still in the sections.
Yep, still keeping with your sections. If you just want to get a closer look, you can get up and have a look. And then once I do this section, I'll get you two to have a go at it as well. Have either of you straightened hair before?
Just like my own hair.
Yep.
But not like someone else's. So
Yep.
it's different when you
Yeah.
yourself.
So sometimes you'll find that people have like quite curly roots. So you might find that when you get to the root area, you may need to run the irons over it a couple of times,
Okay.
like that.
Yep.
Okay? Alright, so what I'll do, I'll get Nada on this one, and then I'll get you to have a little go. And where I'll get you to go on the coloured head, I'm going to turn this on, please.
This one to section.
No, you
That
can
one?
use the small
Okay.
one. Just keeping in mind this one gets really, really hot. And it's a little bit thicker than this tongue. So what do you think might happen if the tongue is thicker?
Get hot quicker.
No, not necessarily.
Like as in what will happen to the hair?
No, like when you're doing the service, what may be different about it?
It's gonna take more hair maybe?
Yeah, so it can take more hair, but because it's a thicker tongue,
Yeah.
you'll find you won't be able to get as close to the root.
Okay.
So you may need to take smaller sections with this one, Roy. Okay. This one not so much because you can get a bit closer because it's smaller. And what I'll do later, and I'll get you to swap so you can see the difference in tongue sizes as well. So pop your client's head down. And not using your fingers, I'll get you to, I'll get you to use your comb and you need to do a nice clean section for me. So straight down the middle, no holding your comb like this, like that.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then splitting it in half. And then using the end of your tail comb to actually split both sides. Like, do you want me to show you?
Yes, show me, please.
Okay, so we're going to go straight down the middle. And then when that's over there,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to get a really small section here, like that,
Oh, from the bottom, yeah.
from the bottom.
Yep.
And then we're going to clip it up. And show me how you do the other side.
The hands or?
Pardon? Yeah. You need to actually use your end of your comb to make a line. So
Okay.
pretend you're drawing on the head, okay? So with the end of the tail comb, pretend you're actually drawing a line on the
Okay,
person's head
Yep.
and then separate it.
Okay.
That's how you'll get a nice clean section,
Yep.
okay? So I want to see you do that in the next one for me. Okay. How do you feel you going, Nana?
Yeah, I think okay. Is that alright like that?
Yeah.
The roots like
Yeah.
that? And then, so I can like obviously take the hair up and use this hand.
Of course, yeah. Yep, that's how I would do it too. How do you feel you're going, Roy?
You're not bad.
Is there anything that you can see that's not turning out correctly?
Is it? Doesn't look good?
No, it does look good.
Okay.
It does. But can you see how there's a
Yeah.
looking back? What would you do to make that a little bit more straighter?
Have you, what, split in half?
I'll give you an idea. I'll show you how to do it on this one.
Back from that side?
Using this hand,
Yeah.
I want you to pick the hair up. Okay?
Yep.
And brushing it straight out like this.
Yep.
Holding it here and then getting this and going in as close as you can to that root. And then putting your comb in, it's going to be really hot.
Yep.
And then bringing it straight down.
Okay.
Can you see how that made a difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to try it on that side for me. So using this hand with the comb in it, you're going to learn to use both.
Yep.
Popping your hand out like that, giving it a little brush, like that, and then doing it with the eye. Yep,
Feel
that's
better?
cool. Yep, I want to see do your next section. Pretending you're drawing a line on the head with the
So
comb.
which side are we doing?
You need to pull down both sides.
Is that the whole head?
Well, no, we're not going to do a whole head. I'm just going to get you to do the back section, and then I'll demonstrate the front section for you both, and then that way you can have a go at the front. That'll take me 15 minutes.
So when you're straightening obviously someone else's hair,
Yeah.
because it's like different to your own hair, how long do you just glide the iron and then you just keep going over it?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually, Nara. So obviously, when we're using a headed tool, we're not going to actually do this, right? I'm going to show you. We're not going to hold it here for this long.
Yeah.
You're gonna burn the head.
Yeah.
So you're gonna try to do it as fast as possible. And I would probably go over it, depending on the person's hair texture,
Yeah.
you could maybe go over it like 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And it should be good by then.
Okay.
Especially if you've got the
Even
right.
like those really, really curly hair.
Well,
like,
you would normally blow dry it first. So you'd
Right.
probably get most of that curl and frizz out. And this is more just sort of a finishing
okay.
tool.
Yeah.
It's more of a finishing service.
Okay. So then, yeah, so that's why. Okay. The curl will already be gone. Most
Yes,
of it.
that's correct. Okay, can I show you again, Ro?
Yep.
Okay, keeping in mind, you're going to hold this in this hand. I'm going to pick it up. You need to use both your hands
Okay.
all the time. What you're actually doing is you're just picking it up like this and going straight in like that.
Yep.
And as I'm watching you, I'm finding that you're not having a clean section of hair.
Yep.
So we're going to pick it. You can use your hand to pick up the hair.
Yep.
If you're finding it hard to use the comb. So that is separated. Give it a good brush so it's nice and even. And then from there, go straight in and give it an iron. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Try that little section in the corner there. That's looking really good now.
Thank you.
I think you've done this before.
Not on anybody else. You're just good at showing me how.
The other thing is I don't have to do anything but yeah.
Is that better?
Yes, much better. Alright, I'm gonna what I might do, I'm gonna show you how to do the front,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna get you to swap tongs over, because I want you to feel the difference
And
in
it
this
tests
one to
me
that
now.
one. Yeah,
Nadi, yours looks good.
yeah. How's it turn
Yours
out?
is good too.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Yeah.
I'm actually pleased with that. It's nice and straight. There's no kinks.
Yeah.
And that looks really good. And so does this. This looks great. And even though like this is real hair, but it is quite coarse.
Yeah.
So, but you will encounter hair like this.
Yeah.
This texture.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're pretending we've done the whole lot. I'm gonna turn her around. Why isn't she not turning? Okay. So once you've gone pretty much ear to ear, I might just give her a brush because she's a bit nutty.
Probably hairspray.
Because she's been styled so many times. Okay, so normally you would do ear to ear like this.
So you go.
So this is considered the back
straight
section.
down all of that.
Yeah, so we're going to do this front bit now. So we're going to pretend we've done like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get rid of that bit there for you. So now we're going to do this part of the head. And same as before, we're just going to give it a good brush. You can twist it up like that. If you can't see your sectioning, you can just twist the hair up. And then take a little piece down like that. Okay? I'm going to use the thicker one this time. So when you've got the thicker tong, you've got to be a bit careful not to burn her face or her ear because the edges of these get quite hot. Okay? Okay, so just like that.
That's what worries me, burning with the ears.
The ear. I've actually burnt my own ear before.
Yeah,
And my neck. Doing my own hair. Not a client's, but my own. And this one's hotter than that one. Can you tell the difference in the way it straightens?
Yes. Yeah.
See the difference in the way that looks to
Yeah,
that?
different. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though they have the same temperature, this one seems to iron better.
Maybe because it's bigger.
It's Asian. It's an Asian brand.
Yeah.
Probably better. Alright, so I'll get you to start doing that one. on the side, Nada.
So am I taking this?
Yeah.
doll?
Oh no, I'll get you to use the same doll.
but
I'll
just
just
swapping toms.
yeah, we'll just swap around.
Yeah.
And I'll show you how to section this one up for you.
So from the ear.
Yeah, so we'll leave this one up actually. We're gonna do ear to ear on this side. So that would be the steps you take if you were going to do the complete head. So we're gonna do ear to ear. You might find this straightener a bit easier, right? Because it's a bit thinner.
Yeah.
But you'll see it doesn't straighten as nice. Alright, I'll get you to give that one a go. So obviously we haven't put any heat spray in the doll's head, but if it was a real client, we'd be doing that. It doesn't have to be on every section of hair, you just spray the whole entire head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just do that at the beginning.
Yes, at the beginning of the service. And then we'll do this one. And then we'll do some questions. How do you find the bigger tongue, Nara?
I find it good. I just worry that I'm gonna burn her. Like so I can see what you mean by
You can't get as close to the root?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I find it does straighten better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the tongue I use on my own head.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like it definitely I find that.
So we're gonna go this here. We're doing the front. We're trying to do the front section of the head. I want to see how you go when you get around the shape of the head because it is slightly different. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to practice that. Maybe about 3 minutes, and then we'll finish it up and we'll have a few questions and answers.
So is that okay? Like when I take this piece, for example,
Mhm.
here, and then I put my comb in,
Yeah.
that I start up but then go down.
Yeah,
Does that make
perfect.
sense?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you can do that.
I just wasn't sure if that's gonna cause that
No.
bump.
No, that's fine. That looks good, right? I think you work better with the smaller tongue.
Yeah, they're a bit bigger than that
Does
one.
that? Do you find it easier to work with that one?
Oh, maybe just get them more comfortable with everything. So even the brush and putting it under the hair. So,
Yeah, so you don't burn yourself.
yeah.
This here is my problem.
Okay, I'll show you how to get that little section. So, because it's really close to the base,
Yeah.
I would go on an angle
Okay.
like this. And you can sort of come in this way with it.
Okay.
And sometimes you've got to follow the hair pattern as well,
Yeah.
the way the hair grows.
Yeah.
Because everyone's hair sits differently.
Yeah. That's a good way of showing because I always find these bits of worry about.
Yeah, around the edge.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good now around this. So if she was to put it up, it's nice and straight. Yeah. So sometimes you've got to change the angle of your tongue. It's not always like up and down. Sometimes you've got to go in funny directions for it to come the way you want it to go.
Okay.
Alright, let's have a look at the time. We're going to give you 2 more minutes to try and finish off that little bit at the top. Same with you, Rosie. How this bit's got a bit of a kink still.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest, that looks really good. What I suggest is like picking it up and sort of focusing on that little spot there that's kinky. So see where it's got the kink?
Yeah.
Put a bit of pressure on the top. Holding it down. Just so that way it gets really straight.
Yeah.
So you're getting rid of that kink in the hair. So that's gone now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do your next section. We might get in maybe one more section. Yeah, that's fine. That looks perfect, Nana.
Thank you. I think you'll get the hang of it more practice.
Yeah, that looks really good.
But that's good. Thank you for showing me that
No,
because
that's
that helped.
okay.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. That's great. Alright, what we might do, we might finish it off there. We'll sit down and have a few little, ask if you have any questions. I'm just going to turn these off. Okay, Roy, do you have any questions that you might want to ask?
So if the person's got really curly hair,
Yeah.
what other products can you put in apart from that to make it easier?
Okay, so there is products that you can get that help. It doesn't remove the curl, but it helps to tame the curl. So it's usually in a cream form. So you can pop that in first. Sometimes we even suggest like a hair moisturizer because sometimes curly hair can be quite drying, like quite dry. So sometimes you need to add that moisture in the hair when you're blow drying, so that way it doesn't frizz out. So that's a product you can use.
So what, you got to shampoo, condition the hair, then put the treatment in it, dry it off, then do it?
Yes. It's not actually a treatment, it's just like a leave-in moisturizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you wash that out or you,
No, that stays in the hair.
you dry it with
Yeah,
it in
you
there?
dry that into the hair. Yeah.
That's what reduces the curl?
It doesn't reduce the curl, it just controls the frizz.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they've got like really knotty hair and like obviously you're combing it out, but then every time you take a section, it's just really like knotty. Can you use a detangling spray and then do you put the heat spray on? Like
Correct,
which
yeah.
way would you do
You
it?
could do both. So I would suggest doing the hair moisturizer because it does act like kind of like a leave-in conditioner.
Yep.
So that will help eliminate any of those knots, and then you can go in with your heated protectant spray.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that should hopefully help as you're brushing. 'Cause
Yeah,
I just
correct.
noticed like obviously
Yeah, she's very
she's
naughty.
got a lot of product from being used, but you would
Yeah.
probably get hair that's
Definitely.
naturally naughty
You
like
do
that.
find
yeah.
clients that have hair like this.
Yeah.
I'm quite pleased. Oh, I'll get off. I don't know if you can see that, Rover. I'm quite pleased the result that you've achieved today. It's quite
Looks good.
quite straight. There's no kinks. It looks really beautiful. If that was over the entire head, that would look amazing. And same as yours, Ren, that looks really, really good. This is really nice and straight. And that's exactly how I would like my hair if I was to have it done.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased with that result there too.
Is the heat spray, Sophie, enough to keep the hair straight? Like sometimes, you know, humid weather, or would you suggest like putting a serum or something else?
Yes.
Afterwards?
Yeah,
Like-
that's correct. So obviously the sprays, there's a lot of products on the market, but there's nothing that can really reduce the humidity and the aspect of the frizz that the hair could create. So for that, you can use a serum. It doesn't always work, but it does work on most people.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you've got that really ringletty curly hair, unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't help that kind of hair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me just have a look at the timing. We still have about 2 minutes to go. Is there anything you found difficult doing this task today? Or did you find it quite easy?
I found out the longer I did the, like, whatever was doing there, if you applied harder pressure, it gives you that more of a straight,
Better effect,
better effect. So
Yeah.
I was just going through pretty fast at the start,
Yeah.
but after you showed me the second time, hold it there, apply more
You need to
pressure,
have the pressure, yeah.
it turns out better, like it
Yeah.
comes more straight,
Most
it becomes more
definitely.
straighter.
The pressure on the tongue gives it a more sleeker, more
So
smooth
once
finish.
this whole hairstyle's done, so do you put hairspray in it?
No,
Or do you
so you
just
can
leave
finish-
it?
You can if you want. Some people like hairspray. Hairspray will just tame down. See these little fluffy bits, that, and then you can put a serum like that. So the serum also.
Does that last the serum?
Yeah, the serum will actually reduce any frizz. It'll bring down any flyaway hair, and it also puts a bit of a shine on the hair as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I actually didn't think I'd like the
The
bigger.
thicker top?
Do you like the thicker one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I thought,
You know, like I think it's hotter.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think and it just when like you straighten with that one, I feel like that end result is nicer.
Yeah, I personally prefer this one when I'm doing straightening.
Yeah.
I don't like it for curling.
Yeah.
Curling, the other one.
This
is
one
it?
I like for curling.
Yeah.
For the fact that it's small, you get a tighter finish.
Yes.
But I find it's not the greatest for straightening.
Yeah.
So I brought the two out so you could compare them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people still use the thinner tongue, which I still have this in my kit. When I do use it for straightening when I work. But for my personal use, I prefer
was
that.
always under the assumption too, like the bigger ones, I always thought they're not gonna hold the straightness very
No.
well.
This is a
But
really
I can
cool
see
one.
that.
This is actually isn't actually even a brand. Like I just got it from a hairdresser, but it's actually really good. It's nice and hot. It straightens really well. This is actual GHD, and I find that the No brand works better than the GHD brand.
Yeah.
But not with the curling.
Not for curling, no. But I have seen people curl with this. The salon that I got it from, they do curl with it.
Yeah.
And
But like you said, it wouldn't give you a tighter curl because
That's
it's
correct.
a bigger
the bigger tongue.
tongue. Yeah.
But it's also always personal preference. Like I use this for curling, but I use this for straightening, but I also use both for straightening. So it depends on whatever you become comfortable with. But for my own personal hair, I prefer this one. Yeah, and I get that nice flat finish that I like to show you on the dolls in today. And that's why I brought out the two to compare.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was
And
really
that's
good.
okay. I think we're done. Yep, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming to
you.
this training session today. I hope you learned something from it.
I did.
And I hope that you can go home now and do that on your daughter's hair and maybe on yourself now.
Yes, much better around
Or
here
your
now.
husband's.
Or on your husband's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.